We're with Adam Feldman. Adam is a criminal attorney in Phoenix, Arizona. He's agreed to answer some online questions for us related, some online questions posted in the internet. If you have direct questions for Adam, all you have to do is post them in the comments section below. With that said, Adam, let's go into the first question that was posted. My son has been charged, and I'm in the process of looking for an attorney. What questions should I be asking the attorneys in the interview?
Thanks, Ryan. It's a great question because the truth is, for most people, when they have a loved one who's charged with a criminal offense, this is the first time they've ever had to get an attorney, and other than hopping online, they don't know what else to do and really what to ask. But the questions you ask and the answers you get before you hire the attorney are probably the most important things you need to do. The first question you need to ask is the criminal defense attorney that I'm hiring a former prosecutor? And hopefully the answer is yes. The reason that that's so important is because just think about it. Anything you do, you always want somebody who has fought from the other side, who knows the other side. And when you're a former prosecutor like I am, I've worked with a lot of these prosecutors before. I know them very well, and I know how their system works. So how better to defend a case than to have already prosecuted this type of case and to know how it goes. And then in addition to that, it's great to have good relationships with the prosecutors who are prosecuting your client. It doesn't mean that you're going to get something under the table or like some sweetheart deal just because you're a former prosecutor, but what it does is it gives you credibility that a lot of the other attorneys don't have to start with. Because I've worked with these people, because they know my reputation, because they know my work ethic, they have a certain level of respect for me from the get-go, and that's always going to help the client out. And so that's one of the biggest questions to ask. The next question that you always want to ask your attorney is, how can I get in touch with you? One of the most frustrating things for clients or for family members is when you call your lawyer, and who do you get? You get a receptionist. And the receptionist then transfers you to the paralegal. And the paralegal usually then tells you that that attorney is at court or is somewhere else, you know. But the truth is that you have such a difficult time getting in touch with your attorney when you hire these big firms. So the best question is, how can I get in touch with my attorney? And if the answer is, well, you call the office, you have a problem. The answer to that question should be, oh, here's his cell phone number. Every one of my clients gets my cell phone number. When they call me and I'm in court, I will literally text them and say, hey, I'm in court, but I'm going to call you in 5 minutes. If I'm not in court, I pick up the phone and they get me. They won't get my receptionist. They won't get my paralegal. They won't get some intern. They get me. So that's a really important question. Another important question is, who is the attorney that's going to represent me? Oftentimes you go to these law firms and, you know, maybe there's a guy on the billboard or the name on the firm, but the truth is you're never going to meet that attorney, and you're certainly not going to be represented by him in any capacity. So the best question is, well, who's my attorney? The answer should be the guy you're sitting down with, the guy who's doing the intake. And with me, that's exactly what happens. So who's my attorney? Is it going to be the same attorney at every court appearance, or are there going to be swapped attorneys, and is my file going to be shuffled through a bunch of different attorneys? Huge question to ask. Very important answer needs to come from that attorney.
Okay, great answer. The next question was, will I know how much the total cost will be if I choose your firm?
Absolutely. There are no hidden or surprise costs associated with representation. The way I do it is it's a flat fee. And everybody always hears that and says, well, flat fee, so then what if you have to go to multiple court hearings? What if my case lasts a year? What if we have to go to trial? I will negotiate one flat fee from start to the finish. So it doesn't matter how many court appearances I have to go to. It doesn't matter how many motions have to be filed. It doesn't matter if we have to go to trial. Any of that, you will know what the total bill is from day one, and that's not going to change.
Okay. This next question probably omitted some information for you, but it says, will I be required to testify?
Every case is different, and here's how it goes. You have a right not to testify. So that will ultimately be a question for you to answer on your own, but with my help. I'd say the majority of cases don't require a defendant to testify. And the reason is because a lot of times those clients have information that would be incriminating. For example, a standard DUI case. We can win a DUI trial based off of the state's inability to prove their case against you without you even testifying. We would be attacking the blood draw or the breath or what the officer did, and it really has nothing to do with you, whether you were drinking and driving. It's really just attacking the state's case against you. So in that case, we attack them, you don't testify, not guilty, and that's great. You know, the other example is, let's say you have a self-defense case in a homicide trial. Well, that is a case where you are going to have to testify, because in order to push forward that self-defense aspect, you're going to have to be the person who's telling the jury that you were in fear for your life and that you had no other option but to defend yourself the way that it happened. So will you have to testify? Well, that depends on the charges, it depends on the evidence, and it depends on what we decide. But no matter what, if you do have to testify, you will be very well prepared on what to expect and how to do it.
All right. Next question was, I was charged with assault. I am on video at the bar, so I'm not sure if I can fight this charge. Do I have any possible defenses?
Absolutely. Videos are great evidence for the state, but it's not everything. Oftentimes the videos are grainy. Oftentimes the videos are separated into almost like several still shots, where it goes every second there's a still shot. It's not a continuous video that you would see if you're watching a DVD at home. Most importantly, just because there is a video doesn't mean that the state's going to be able to use that against you. They have to fulfill a tremendous amount of requirements in order to allow them to use this video against you. A lot of times the state doesn't have the ability to overcome that burden, and so they don't even get to use that video. So where a client might initially think, well, I'm sunk, they've got a video, there's no real reason to hire an attorney, it's the opposite of that, because you need that attorney to try to keep those videos out. And then on top of that, with the video, maybe you know it's you in the video, but is there anybody else who can say that it's you? Is there any true way to identify that person in the video as being you? A lot of times the answer is no. So video doesn't necessarily mean you're done for. There's a lot that can be done there.
Okay, and the final question we have is, I have 2 felonies from when I was younger. I've had no run-ins with the law in many, many years. Is it possible to clear those convictions from my record?
The answer is kind of. Most people come into the office. Most people come into the office and they ask about expunging their record. Well, the bad news is that in Arizona, there's no expungement process. There's something similar, and I'll touch on that in a few seconds, but you don't get to expunge things. To make matters worse, in this day and age with internet and public records, truth is that even if we can clear your record, if somebody searches hard enough through the internet, through a sophisticated search engine, they're probably going to be able to find that at least something existed at one point. Now, here's what does happen in Arizona. We can and often do file motions to vacate judgment of guilt. So you have been found guilty one way or the other. You went to trial and you were convicted, or you pled guilty to something. Time goes by, you still have that conviction on your record. And anytime you're filling out an application for a loan, for a job, for housing, up comes the question, hey, have you been convicted? And unfortunately, you still have to check the box, yes. Well, this is where we can help. When you vacate the judgment of guilt, you are basically asking the court to say, hey, look, while this person was once legally convicted of a crime, we want the record to reflect that now there are no true convictions on his or her record. And oftentimes that's granted. So next time the question comes up, have you been convicted of an offense? The true legal answer is no, I have no convictions on my record. But like I said, so we're going to go back full circle. Well, what if somebody searches hard enough? I'm saying no, I don't have convictions because the court truly vacated it, but they still find something on the record. Well, then what I encourage my clients to do is to oftentimes attach a form letter that I provide that really describes what happened. Back in 2007 or whenever this happened, some odd years ago, I was convicted for DUI. I've had no run-ins with the law since, and as a result, that conviction was vacated. So in the eyes of the court, I no longer have any convictions on my record. And what I've found is that that legal letter, when it's attached to anything from an application for home loans or really anything, employment, it helps the employer or the lender understand your situation, and oftentimes it gets you what you want.
Okay, excellent. Well, if you have any additional questions for Adam, all you need to do is post them to the comments section below. Also, obviously, you can call his firm directly if you have a more pressing issue. And thank you for your time, Adam.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. I appreciate the questions.